Welcome back to the next video. I'm Brad Brown. We've got our strength and conditioning coach and head of athlete success, Shona Hendricks, on with us once again today. Shona, how's it?
How's it, Brad?
Shona, we're talking strength and conditioning today, and particularly around injuries, and one particular injury that runners try and avoid like the plague, but unfortunately it's a lot more common than we'd like it to be, and that is ITB. And strength and conditioning work can make a huge difference to, first of all, preventing it, but also sorting it out once you've got it. Before we get into some of the things specific things runners can do to prevent it and to get it, explain, if you can, what is it, first of all?
So it's where your iliotibial band, which connects up at the hip, is just getting really tight. And then what is happening is that sort of rubbing, every time you're extending your knee, it rubs over the knee joint, and that really causes an insurmountable amount of pain, as runners would have experienced. So that can be from a tightness, it can be caused from a weakness. There's so many factors, and while we'll talk specifically strength and conditioning, I think it's key to note that an injury like ITB it's really caused from so many things. It can be due to shoes, due to the biomechanics of the way a person runs, weaknesses, which is where we will focus. But and then overloading as well. I think that's one thing we don't always consider, is that someone who's come from very little all the way up to a lot of running, that really can be a factor that adds to it as well.
Absolutely. And as always, these videos are not medical advice. So if you are struggling with an injury, your best place to check and first call would be a doctor or a physiotherapist. Get to a medical practitioner, get the thing diagnosed properly. We're going to be talking strength and conditioning, as Shona said, that can assist in the treatment of and also prevention of. Let's talk about the treatment of, Shona. If somebody is struggling with a bit of ITB, what are some of the things they can do once they've got it from a strength and conditioning point of view to sort of alleviate the pain and to sort the problem out?
So I found that foam rolling is really good. It really helps alleviate the pain. Because that band is so tight, if you're working around loosening the quadriceps around there, that really does help. So be sure to not do it too much, because then you can actually irritate the muscle and the band. But that really helps. In my experience, runners are particularly weak around the hip girdle, around the pelvic area, and glutes and hamstrings. And so by adding in some strength and conditioning into your weekly routine, I've just seen it when runners start adding that in, suddenly their ITB just starts getting better and better. So those two things would be key for me to help someone who is suddenly struggling with ITB.
Is it the same things they can do if you don't have it? Is it that sort of stuff that's going to prevent you getting it?
Yep, definitely. Again, biomechanically, everyone's so different, but I've just seen in my experience that runners are really, really weak within the glutes and hamstrings, and that just causes the body to, when you're running, just to compensate in other sort of ways, and so they put strain on the mechanisms around there. So working on strengthening those glutes, strengthening hamstrings, loosening up the hip flexors, so lots of stretching in the front of the body, that makes a big difference. I mean, most of us are sitting in this exact position at work all the time, so we find our hip flexors and our quads are quite tight. So loosening that up and stretching those areas, and then strengthening the back of the body, so the posterior chain, the hamstrings and the glutes, should really help prevent this as well.
I was going to mention sitting, Sean. I'm glad you did, because that is one of the modern evils, isn't it? I mean, most of us, if we are office bound, literally sitting in front of a desk on a chair for 8 hours a day, it's really not good for us.
Yep, and with that sort of environment, we say that sitting is the new smoking. It's that bad that people, we really try and encourage people to get up from their desks every 45 minutes to an hour, because it's exactly that. You'll end up sitting in this sort of posture the whole time, so crouched over here, then you're going to end up getting neck pain. You'll land up having a tighter hip girdle, which when you're running, you need to have full extension of your legs going backwards and forwards. And, that's why that is so important. So stretching that area out, but with the stretching, you need to have the strength and stability. So it doesn't help just to stretch it. Make sure you're getting the strength around the pelvic area to help sustain the loads from running.
Yeah, if you are struggling with a bit of ITB and you need some help, make sure you check out our strength and conditioning programs on the Coach Parry online training platform. Head over to coachparry.com/join. You can access them all online on the web browser or through our mobile apps, iOS and Android apps as well. There are some phenomenal programs that have you covered basically from beginner right through advanced. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, we have got you covered. Shona, as always, great to catch up. Thanks for joining me today.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad.